think with the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Here he comes. Way rock the baby to Cleveland.
Until morning. Ewing.
Oh, wow.
Oh. He's going to try to get one more shot off for him. The ball's there.
How about that?
Rivers steps over Toronto. He thought about three. He'll put up a three.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Boom Broadcasting presents 3 from Deep. I'm your host, Jason Colenso. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, now there's only 8. We finally have our final 8 teams after a couple of great Game 7s over the weekend. But before we jump into that, guys, stop what you're doing. Go down, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, jump on Boom Broadcasting, because not only do you have me from 3 from Deep, you have a ton of other content in this channel, man. You guys would not be disappointed here. We got football, basketball, baseball, hockey, wrestling, you name it, TV shows, you name it, we got it. So like and subscribe. We appreciate you being here. I appreciate you joining me here on Monday at 3 from Deep, because the playoffs are just going crazy right now. But guys, I cannot do this alone, because talking about a couple of Game 7s and all the basketball we had coming out of the weekend, I had to bring someone on the show with me here. Without further ado, I'm going to add to the stage my man Carson, who is the co-host of Hoops and Helmets on the Boom Broadcasting channel. So come on, Carson, where you at, buddy? There you are. Welcome to the show, Carson.
What's going on? Thank you for having me, dude. I'm so excited. We've had some really, really good NBA basketball, which is my real love. I do Hoops and Helmets, and I love college basketball. I love NBA basketball in general. It's just is my true love. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome, man. I'm glad to have you on too. I'm loving these basketball playoffs right now, man. They have some great storylines. We've had some unbelievable basketball, man. So we're going to just jump right into it, man. Coming out of the weekend, we had a couple of Game 7s. First, we'll start with that Nuggets Clippers game, man. Looks like the Nuggets on a second half blitz get past those Clippers 120 to 101. Joker and Murray, decent game, 16 points apiece, but 6 Nuggets had over double digits. I just, the look on Steve Ballmer's face, man, busting in all those people and flying in all those people to kind of recreate the Clippers wall, to have that look on his face after that disappointing loss says it all. Look, Kawhi Leonard, 22 points, but man, I need us to talk about the elephant in the room, which is James Houdini Harden. Now you see him, now you don't. 7 points, 13 assists. Carson, I feel bad just blasting James Harden, but you know we got to do this, because right now this is turning out to be his MO, dude. The question I have for you, and I'd like to hear your opinion, is the narrative of James Harden disappearing in the playoffs set in stone after this series?
I would have to say, yeah. I have not been a huge Harden believer in general, just over my time watching basketball. So, yeah, I would say he is, and especially in do-or-die games. Game 7, I believe he's at 19 points per game in Game 7s, which is just awful. Everybody remembers the 24 missed threes against the Warriors, and obviously that wasn't just James Harden, but he was a huge part of that. I mean, he was the cornerstone of that team, the go-to guy. So, yeah, I do. I think he is, like you said, a Houdini in the playoffs, and there's a few reasons for that. First off, his back in Houston, he just had a lack of versatility on offense. Everybody knew what he was going to do when he got to the playoffs. It was going to be a lot of iso ball, a lot of step back threes that just get predictable over the course of a series. And outside of that, he really wasn't doing anything. right? He wasn't getting to the
Right.
rim very much. He got to the line at a decent rate, but not as much as he did in the preseason, in the regular season. And obviously we know because that's just how it's ref differently. And so that's what you see from a lot of these like foul baiters, people who really, really rely on getting to the line.
Right.
They just can't keep up that same rate of free throws when you get to the postseason. So that really hurt him. And then obviously we all know he's been a defensive liability as long as he's been in the league. Now with the Clippers, it's a little different. He's definitely grown as a playmaker. At this point, he's an incredible playmaker now. He's added that to his game. But at the same time, his scoring volume has really, really decreased. He's really not getting to the rim anymore. He's not getting to the line at near the same rate as he was even in the playoffs. And he's just not as good of an offensive player as an offensive scorer in general. So he's always liable to have a couple good games like we saw out of him in this series where he just goes off. But more often than not, it just feels like he breaks down in these playoff settings and he doesn't give you what you need. And for that reason, I just think that at this point, he's 35, right? He's not getting better. So yeah, I think this was kind of his last chance to show that he could show up to the playoffs and give the same or at least a similar level of production that he does in the regular season. At the end of this regular season, dude, he was on a heater. He was going absolutely insane, playing super, super well. Then he comes to these playoffs and do this. So it's disappointing, but not surprising, in my opinion. This is kind of what I expected from him.
Yeah, and me too, man. Look, you have two of the best disappearers in Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. I was very impressed with Kawhi Leonard actually playing through this series and playing well. I know he's got a couple of rings. I know he won in Toronto, but then after that, the last 5 years, he's just been kind of non-existent. So for him to play as well as he did in this series, I was very impressed with that. But yeah, James Harden, and I don't know if it's really fair to be that hard of him. Then we have a lot of great NBA players that just could never get over the hump, like a Tracy McGrady. I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan, and he could never get over the hump either. But, this has always been the knock against Harden is the big game. He just shrinks and disappears. And just to piggyback on what you were talking about, being the last chance, do you think that this is the last chance? It was the last chance for James Harden to really make it to at least the NBA Finals or the Western Conference Finals, or can you see him maybe making it as a non-starter on a team? And do you think that would change the narrative, or does he have to make it as a starter?
I think I don't know if it would change the narrative if he did it as a backup. It would change it for me at the very least. I still would be the same. I would still have the same feelings that he was never gonna lead a team to the finals, right? I would still have those same feelings. We also have to say, I just really think we should throw this in there. He's been in the West his entire career, a really difficult West. In his prime, he was taking the KD and Steph-led Warriors to Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, right? So I do want to throw that caveat in there. He hasn't been terrible in the playoffs every single series, every single game, right?
Right.
But he still has dropped off. But at this point, he's just in the West. Like I said, he's 35 years old. He's not getting any younger. He's not getting any better. And the West is getting so much better, dude. The Oklahoma City Thunder are not going anywhere. All their guys are locked up. They still have a ton of draft picks. The Lakers, I think, will be in contention with Luka Doncic, and they're probably going to retool. They'll probably get a big over this offseason, which a big with Luka Doncic, we already know what that means, right? That's just good results. You have other teams. The Rockets, I think, are going to be a really, really good, especially regular season team. But I think Amen Thompson is developing really, really nicely. He's going to go into the playoffs next series, and I think he'll be even better as a shot maker. Hopefully Sengun will have progressed progress his offensive game. So I just think there are so many. I mean, the Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is looking like a top 10 player at this point. And so I just think there are a lot of teams that are getting a lot better. And I don't think the Clippers are really one of them. Zubac is really good. Harden and Kawhi are really, really good regular season players. Kawhi is a very good postseason player, in my opinion. But they're both just getting old, right? Their bodies cannot do this for very long. We are seeing it more often. We see a Curry who had an incredible game. Some guys do, but just at the rate that we've seen Harden declining, I think he should be a leader of the backup group. I think he could be a really, really good veteran to lead a team's backups, right? Just the playmaker he is. He's a veteran. He's smart. I think he would be a really, really good backup point guard, possibly sixth man of the year if that happened. I think that should be the route if the Clippers could find maybe a solid point guard in the offseason. I just don't know if they have the assets to do it.
Right. And that's one of the things with the Nuggets. On the flip side, this was a great win for them. They really didn't need Joker that much. He actually had some bad games and almost looked human because I still think he's the best basketball player on the planet. But if you look at somebody like a Russell Westbrook and the game he had in Game 7 and coming off the bench and playing that kind of backup role, he had some important shots. And you could just see the emotion on his face after that win, how excited and how much it meant to him, I think, to beat the Clippers and to beat James Harden. So I think if Russell Westbrook, who has always been a knock against him, again, not being able to get over the hump, because you got to remember, Westbrook, Harden, and KD were all on the same team, on that Oklahoma City Thunder team that lost to the Warriors in a Game 7 before KD jumped ship. If Westbrook can kind of humble himself and come off the bench and kind of be that role player at a later stage in his career, I think James Harden can do it too. But for now, it's always going to hurt him not being able to get over that hump, especially as great a scorer he was. But now the Nuggets, they get Oklahoma City. I mean, you win a series, you win a tough series against the Clippers, and your reward is the number 1 team in the West. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So we had another Game 7 here, man. I really was sold on the Rockets, man. I saw them win the other night, stretch it to a Game 7. I was excited about them. I went for the youth over experience, and that kind of bit me in the butt here, being that the Warriors have now taken out the Rockets. I love Amen Thompson. You talk about him, dude. He is a superstar in the making. I think if he just improves his scoring a little bit better, he is a superstar. Alfred Sengun, all-star. He's only 22 years old, dude, playing at that level. Just think as he ages and gets better, man, how much better he's going to be. I was a little disappointed in Jalen Green in this series, man. He had one good game, but kind of disappeared the rest of the series. But Rockets, great season, getting through the West. Number 2, just couldn't get past those crafty Warriors. But those Warriors, can Steph at 37, Draymond Green getting a little older, Jimmy Buckets, a.k.a. Playoff Jimmy, can those Warriors survive against that strong T-Wolves team, man?
I would say no. I don't really give them a chance, to be honest. Those Timberwolves,
not even a chance?
Not really even a chance. The Timberwolves are really, really good. At this point in their careers, I think I would say that Stephen Curry and Anthony Edwards are right next to each other, right? I think that they would be they're really, really close as players at this point, just because Steph has a tendency to just give you a stinker every now and then. I mean, he has by far the higher ceiling, in my opinion, just with his 3-point shooting and his gravity. We know, like watching Steph's all these years, that his production does not only come in scoring, right? It's not only in the box score. He had 7 assists in this game, but it's more than that. You can see the gravity, whether he's coming off a screen or whether he's cutting into the lane. You just see the defense's head all turn and look at him, and 2 people run to him, and it leaves somebody open. And that's really where his value comes at this stage in his career. But just against the Timberwolves, I think they have a lot of counters, more lineup versatility. First off, I think that Anthony Edwards is probably going to have a pretty good series. He's really, really progressed as a playmaker. And when Draymond Green is off the floor, especially, Jimmy Butler is still a good defender, but Anthony Edwards' athleticism, quickness, his first step, his vertical prowess is just different. It's too much for a Jimmy Butler to guard. I mean, Anthony Edwards is really one of those guys where you have to guard him with your full team, and I don't think they can do that. Buddy Hield is basically the Warriors' only other avenue to offense outside of Steph and Jimmy Butler, and that's the big problem. They only have 3 guys on their team who can reliably score, and Buddy Hield is a reliable scorer. He had some stinkers in this series, dude. Terrible games, but in this one he gave you 33. So I just think the depth for the Timberwolves, the lineup versatility, is just going to be too much. I would probably take them in 5 or 6. I respect and trust Curry and Butler and Draymond enough to get you 1, and I think they could maybe even get you 2. But I think that the Timberwolves just overall is just the better team, and that's kind of the theme we've seen in these playoffs. Depth is winning out right now over the top talent. We saw it against LeBron and Luka. I mean, those are by far the 2 best players in that Timberwolves series, and the Timberwolves still won because 1, Ant went nuclear, and 2, they just have the better overall depth. So I give them a fighting chance, but not a huge one.
Right. And those T-Wolves, man, I tell you what, I am super impressed. I think they're on a mission. Anthony Edwards is on a mission. And that's the next thing I want to talk about real quick here is you have Steph Curry, who has been the face of the league for a good, 10 plus years, along with LeBron, along with KD, those guys getting along in the tooth. LeBron may have another year left in him. How many years does Steph Curry have left? This to me is going to turn out to be the series of, can Steph Curry still continue to be Steph Curry and shoot the lights out the building? Or is this the time where Anthony Edwards blacks out and takes over the mantle that everybody wants him to take over? Everybody talks about wanting him to be the face of the league, and he kind of doesn't want to do it. But I think he's really seeing in these playoffs what he has to do and what he has to do for his team to really get them to the next level. Can you see this series being that series where Anthony Edwards just becomes that guy?
I could, yeah. I mean, I think last series was already a really big test. I mean, we knew coming in like LA was going to have nothing to throw at Anthony Edwards defensively. They just didn't have the personnel for it. In this one, the Warriors are much better suited to guard him, I think. Still not great, but much better. Draymond Green is, in my opinion, a top 5 defensive player ever. Jimmy Butler is still a really, really good defender, especially a team defender. You've got Kevin Looney on the inside, who is an okay rim protector, not great. So I think if he can average, say 25 to 30 a game, 27 a game. I could put him in like that top 7 range. I still don't think he would be the face of the league. In my opinion, that's Shai. I think he is the second best player in the league, and I would give it to Jokic, but he just doesn't have the personality for it. So, in my opinion, Shai is the face of the league. I don't really buy. I know Stephen A. had a whole big thing about how the face of the league has to be an American-born player. I don't really buy that.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, Shai is the face of the league. But Anthony Edwards is a great candidate. I mean, he has the personality for it. People really love like scoring volume and athleticism, and that's Anthony Edwards to a T, right? That is what he's all about. So I could see it. I could see him propelling into like my top 7 players. I think I will probably be a little lower on him than consensus if he does average like say 27, 28 a game. I mean, I know you go on like social media, you're going to see people calling him top 3, better than Shai, better than Jokic. I don't buy that.
Right.
But I do think that he could propel himself into those like top tier conversations. Right now he's in my tier 2. I could see him propelling into those top tier with Jason Tatum, with Luka. I mean, especially with how Luka played this year. With Giannis, I could see him getting into those tier players.
Right. And I can see that too, but I think this is going to be a great matchup. And that leads me to the ultimate question. Let's finish off the West here. So we got Nuggets, we got OKC. Who do you got, and what do you think the score is in the series?
I've got OKC. I just think they're the better team overall. I think we're going to see a lot of the same defensive game plan that the Lakers deployed against Jokic in the regular season, where they just swarmed him, double teamed him, and triple teamed him off the ball, and let Christian Braun shoot, let Russell Westbrook shoot. They shot pretty good in this series, honestly, so maybe that won't work out as well. I would still have to give it to the Thunder, though. I just think that they're going to swarm Jokic. I think they probably have the best defensive personnel to make him uncomfortable. I will take Thunder in – it's going to be 6 or 7. I'm going to take Thunder in 6.
Thunder in 6. Wow. I'm skewing a little bit different. It has been hard for me to bet against Joker. It has been hard to me. Look, Murray has come back. He came back from his injury. I was a little worried about him. The way Russell Westbrook is playing, coming off the bench too. Now he's even going to have more motivation playing against his former team. Look, OKC was a number 1 seed last year, and they kind of ended up laying a stinker in last year's playoffs. Until they get over the hump, it's hard for me to bet against a champion, someone who has been there before. I got this going 7 games, but I'm giving the nod to the Nuggets. I really am. I still think they have enough firepower. I still think Joker has it in him. And I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It looks like he's going to be the MVP of the league. He is a phenomenal player, a great scorer, but I need him to win the big game. He's got to get that off of his plate. I know he's still young in his career, but, man, this is going to be a great series. But give me the Nuggets in 7, and then let's move on to this T-Wolves and the Warriors. You already kind of alluded to who you're going for, but who do you have winning, and what do you think the score is in that one?
I'm going to take Warriors at 5. I'll take Timberwolves in 6 is what I think I'm going to do.
Okay.
No, I'll take Timberwolves in 6. I do trust Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler enough to get you at least a game, and I think they'll get you 2. But at the end of the day, their supporting cast is just not good enough. Brandon Podziemski is not a reliable source of offense. Buddy Hield can be. He can also be a terrible source of offense. Right. Moses Moody has probably been the Warriors' 4th best player overall in this series. He laid a stinker in Game 7. He had 0 points. And you have Jonathan Kuminga, who has been awful this series. Quentin Post, who has been okay, but still not reliable. And outside of that, I mean, what you want? You going Santos? You going Spencer? You going Jackson? No, you're not going any of those guys. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Wolves in 6.
Yeah, it's hard to go against those Wolves, man. They look good. Man, it is really tough to bet against them. You know, you got Draymond Green, Al Green. It's not easy being green. T-Wolves in 5. I got T-Wolves in 5. I think they make quick. They think they get rid of the Warriors really, really quick in this series. I love me some Steph Curry. I still think he's top 10 all time. He has proven himself time and time again. I do. And we'll discuss that at another date. We'll get into top 10s here. But
yeah, we'll have to.
He's already kind of proven himself. Everything he does, like from now on, is just the cherry on the top. He's already he has nothing else. He's kind of like LeBron. I mean, what 100%. Else do you have to? What else do you have to prove? You've had a Hall of Fame career. Everything else is just cherry on top. But yeah, Wolves in 5. I'm extremely impressed on how they're playing. Julius Randle showing up as a former New York Knick, where he was always questionable on whether he was going to be available. Played well, and man, Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower, is the reason why they won that last game. Mm-hmm. Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game in that game 5, but man, Rudy Gobert, and I think that's going to be ultimately what hurts the Golden State Warriors. Is I just don't think they're going to be able to get points in the paint. I think that Wolves defense is going to swarm them, and I think Anthony Edwards is ready to take that next step. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a great series, man. Great series. So that's the first 4. Let's get into the second 4, man. Let's come to the east side, where my guys live. But first, we're going to talk about that Cavs Pacers. That first game, we got a game 1 in already in that semifinals. And man, I tell you what, the Indiana Pacers, you talk about the Indianapolis 500, watching a team just blow up and down the court. That Indiana Pacers team is fast. They are tall. They are efficient, and they are fun to watch. Cavs, phenomenal year. First in the East all year, wire to wire. But man, got blitzed also by those Pacers in that game 1, 121-112. I mean, Cavs, points in the paint. They had 70 points in the paint to Indiana's 38. But Indy shot 53% from the field, almost 53% from three-pointer. They were just on fire. D. Mitch, 33 points, but where was everybody else? 23% from 3. 9 for 38 from the three-point range. And I think that's ultimately what killed them. But, man, I know you love the Cavs. I think they are from top to bottom. I had them going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I had them representing the East when I called this early in the playoffs. But, man, the Indiana Pacers are going to put them to the test because they got a hell of a team. First thing I want to ask you is, what were your thoughts watching this game as you saw those Pacers running up and down the court?
My thoughts varied throughout. At the beginning, I thought, wow, these Pacers just punched us in the mouth. They came out, and it was like the Cavs were surprised by their pace. Truly, it was like they weren't expecting it, which is crazy. If you watch this Pacers team, you all know they love to run. That's what they love to do. And I thought that the Cavs would be able to keep up with them. I mean, the Cavs love to run. They get up and down the court. These are two of the most well-conditioned teams in the entire league, other than maybe the Thunder. And the Pacers, I mean, their pace was just phenomenal. They, like you said, the Indianapolis 500, I mean, it was reminiscent. You see why they call them the Pacers, dude. They are moving. At the same time, as this game went on and on and on, my thought was, wow, Cavs cannot make a shot. And then it was, wow, Pacers cannot miss a shot. And really, that's what this came down to.
Right.
Like you said, Cavs shot 23.7% from 3. Indianapolis shot 52.8. That's the game right there. It is a shock with those numbers that this game was even as close as it was, right?
Right.
You are not supposed to win a game where there is a 29% differential from 3. So that's my first thing. I think that the Pacers cannot continue to shoot like this. They are a great three-point shooting team, and they have the second highest offensive rating in the first round after the Cavs. Cavs are going to shoot better than this. I promise you they will shoot better than this. The Pacers are going to shoot worse than this. I promise you they are going to shoot worse than this. It's not going to go like this, in my opinion. I really think that the Cavs should wrap this up pretty quickly. I think this was just – I really do. And I don't think I don't think that the Pacers are going to lay down. I don't think that it's not going to be close. I don't think it's not going to be a fight, right? But when I see 23.7% from the three from the Cavs, when I see Donovan Mitchell goes 1 for 11, I see Ty Jerome goes 1 for 4. I see Max Strus, an incredible 3-point shooter, goes 2 for 8. That's not going to happen, man.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell is going to get his in this series. We saw it. He was absolutely terrible from behind the line, but everywhere else he was absolutely money. He was getting to the rim at ease. He looks like a top 10 player when he is just relentlessly attacking the rim. That's what he was doing in this one. It was just incredible to watch. Evan Mobley in that second quarter especially was amazing. Just grabbing rebounds and defending pretty well. I thought he could have defended a little better, but defending pretty well. But I mean, everything he was putting up inside, he was being physical and it was going in. Ty Jerome, I was really disappointed in this game. He wasn't terrible as a scorer. I think he finished with like 21 points, but everywhere else I thought he was pretty bad. He was driving in, complaining about foul calls and not getting back. That was what really infuriated me the most when I watched him looking at just he shot a layup, he missed it. He thought he got fouled, and he stood straight up and looked at the ref and started talking to him while the Pacers grabbed the ball and raced it down the floor. That absolutely infuriated me. And normally he's not like that, right? I think that that will probably get in check for this next game. DeAndre Hunter was pretty good in this game. I want him to be more aggressive. And one thing I thought about this game that was weird was Kenny Atkinson and the way he distributed the minutes. Sam Merrill started this game. Don't like that. I understand when Darius Garland off, Sam Merrill is a very, very good 3-point shooter. At the same time, he's a pretty abysmal defender, and he doesn't really bring anything outside of 3-point shooting. So if Darius Garland is hurt, I want to see DeAndre Hunter in the lineup over Sam Merrill. I don't really understand that whatsoever. But the Pacers, they came to play, dude. Like I said, 52.8 from the free throw line. Andrew Nembhard, absolutely incredible. Aaron Nesmith, absolutely incredible. Both of them were on fire from 3, and they just torched us. So
yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Darius Garland. I'm glad you brought him up. Of course, being out with that big toe, how much does it hurt the Cavs not having him? Because he's a prolific scorer too. When he needs to, he can give you 30. And how much is that injury going to affect him with the speed of this game? This is not going to be a slow series. This is going to be nonstop from tip-off to whistle. And somebody with a hurt big toe who, when you have a hurt big toe, it's hard to walk, let alone run. How much do you think that's going to affect him?
Yeah,
coming back.
It matters a lot. Darius Garland already is one of the quickest players you will ever see. His go-to move when he has the ball is the stop and go, is the hesitation.
Right.
And if you don't play basketball, one thing about a hesitation move is when you stop, your big toe slams into the front of your foot, into the front of your shoe. So that matters, right? That is literally his bread and butter. And especially in a game like this where you are just running up and down the floor constantly. That's one thing about the Cavs. I understand slowing down the game, but ideally you want to slow it down on the defensive end, right? Offensively, when you have numbers, when you have a chance to go and you're as good as the Cavs, go, right? Don't wait. Don't stop. Right. And that was one thing I noticed a lot, is that when they had numbers, they would pass it to Ty Jerome or or Donovan Mitchell, and they would slow down. And Donovan Mitchell got a little bit better about that in the second half. Ty Jerome just is not a very fast guy. He plays with a lot of patience. So when he's on the floor, you're going to see the Cavs slow down. And that's why I think Darius Garland matters a lot in this series. His quickness, his conditioning, he can stick with these guys. I don't think anybody on the Pacers can guard him. I think he is just way too quick for all of them. And when he gets into the paint, that is basically game over for the defense, because he's going to either give a floater, which he has elite touch. He's going to give up a lob to Jared Allen or Evan Mobley. Both of them are super athletic, great lob threats, or he's going to pass out to a 40% 3-point shooter. So it's kind of just pick your poison at that point, and that's why he's just so important. As great of a scorer as he is, his playmaking is even more important for this team because it opens everything up.
Well, this is going to be a phenomenal series. Pacers beat the Cavs 3-1 in the regular season. So if anybody has their number, it is these Pacers. And if anybody matches up really, really well against the Cavaliers as far as length, as far as defense, rebounds, shooting, scores, the Pacers are right there with them. And yes, the Cavs got smacked in the mouth. So game 2, it's going to be interesting to see if the Cavaliers can outpace the Pacers. So we'll see if they get their engines revved up, and we'll see for game 2, man. But this is going to be one heck of a series. And I tell you, man, watching that game, that was some great basketball we watched today, man. Watching that game was unbelievable. So last game we'll jump into here. A little preview tonight, 7 p.m. My New York Knicks going against the Boston Celtics, the defending champions. We got Captain Clutch versus Jason Tatum, who I really feel that Jason Tatum does not get the credit he deserves. I talk about this all the time, that I think he's probably one of the most underrated superstars in the league. He's got a championship. He can score. He is elite, but yet nobody puts him in the conversation with Luka or Ant or SGA or Joker. Where's Jason Tatum? And as a Knicks fan, that hurts to even talk about, because I still feel that my man Jalen Brunson should be in the MVP conversation. My crack image staff here with my MVP thing here. But who do you think is more important to their team? Jalen Brunson to the Knicks or Jason Tatum to the Boston Celtics?
I really hope Celtics fans don't see this, because I just think they're going to misunderstand what I'm saying. The answer is easily 100% Jalen Brunson is more important to the Knicks than Jason Tatum is to the Celtics. Now, I say that because the Celtics are absolutely loaded. They have Jaylen Brown. They have Derek White. They have Peyton Pritchard. Either of them can give you 30 on any given night. They have Kristaps Porzingis, who is one of the best mismatch attackers in the NBA, probably the best pick and pop big, other than maybe Cat.
Right.
And then you go to the Knicks, and they have Jalen Brunson, and they have Karl Anthony Towns, and that's kind of it offensively. Now, defensively, they're great. They have Mikal Bridges. They have OG Anunoby, who has also been great on offense. He's looked like a mini Kawhi Leonard. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the Celtics just have so much more talent, right, top to bottom. I didn't even mention, like, Al Horford, who is still an incredible three-point shooting big, good defender still at this point. So, yeah, I mean, it's Jalen Brunson is the more important player to his team. Now, I still think Jason Tatum is the better player, like you said. I think that he is one of the more underrated players in the league, because when you look at players, Jokic has A+ passing, Shai has A+ scoring, Luka has A+ passing, Giannis has A+ scoring. Jason Tatum isn't A+ at anything, but he is A- at everything. He's He is a great passer, great playmaker, great scorer, great rebounder, great defender. He is great at everything on the basketball court. He's just not elite he's not elite at any of them, really. I mean, and that is changing. His passing is borderline elite. His scoring, his mismatch attacking is borderline elite. I just think he's got to progress a little in that. Sometimes his mentality, he doesn't want to attack mismatches. He can get too reliant on the pull-up three. That's changing. We're watching it change, where he's just getting smarter at the game of basketball. In my opinion, that's his last step. And yeah, I think he's a top 5 player. I have him at my number 5. And
really?
Yeah,
top 5.
I have him number 5. My list goes Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luka, and Tatum. And if Luka has another stinker like this, even half the season next year, that'll switch.
Wow.
I just can't have him above Giannis. I can't have him above SGA, and I definitely can't have him above Joker. So,
gotcha. That's interesting. We'll have to get into that list too. But I 100% agree with you. Not that I'm just a homer, and it's the New York Knicks, but Jalen Brunson is extremely important to the New York Knicks. I was worried about him coming out of that Detroit Pistons series because it was such a physical series with his injury, and then he turns around, drops 40. I'm still disappointed in Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm calling you out. I still have not seen a huge game from you. This is why we traded for you. Mikal Bridges, this is why we threw all kinds of draft picks to get you over to New York. Jason Hart, where are you with the triple doubles? I'm going to get crazy here with my New York Knicks, but man, this is going to be a tough series because Carson, I'm concerned. The Knicks are 0-4 against the Boston Celtics in the regular season, and they only had one close game, and it was about a couple of points. Does that matter when you get to the playoffs? Does your regular season record against a team, does that spill over into the playoffs, or do you think the Knicks are going to ignore that and come at this a little bit differently?
I think it matters somewhat. I don't think it's everything. A lot of people will just say, well, they got beat 0-4 in the regular season, so they have no chance. I don't necessarily think like that. The playoffs and the regular season are so different. It's not even funny. You can't really compare it to other sports in that way.
Right.
Maybe like hockey. But it's so different. So no, I don't put a lot of stock into that, in my opinion. However, it does give you a chance to look at game plans, look at lineups. And I mean, if you get beat 0-4 by a team, it can kind of just be a little demoralizing. And then you play them in the playoffs and maybe that carries over. Probably not. These guys are NBA players. They get themselves ready. They get their minds ready, right? At the same time, I do think in the regular season games, you just saw that the Knicks don't have a lot of counters for what the Celtics do, and the Celtics have a lot of counters for what the Knicks do, unfortunately. So I don't think it's going to be – I don't think they're going to get 4-0'd. I don't think they're going to get swept because this is the Celtics, and what do you see from the Celtics? They give up a game. They give up a game basically every series. You saw it with the Magic. You saw it last year where they gave up a game to the Heat, and then they gave up a game to – I can't remember who they played. And then they 4-0'd the Pacers, but all of those games were close. So I don't think it'll be 4-0. I think it will probably be 5, and I could even see it being 6. I could see Brunson just going absolutely crazy for a game. I think Cat could have a pretty good game in this series, depending on how available Kristaps Porzingis is and how active he is, because he had a really bad series against Orlando.
Right.
So I could see them getting 6, but I would be shocked if the New York Knicks got past the Celtics. And I hate to say that to you on your show, but I got to keep it real with you, man.
I appreciate that. Tonight's game to me is pivotal. You went 0-4 against the Celtics. You went 0-4 against the Cavaliers. You couldn't beat the Lakers. You couldn't beat the Thunder at all. So against top-tier teams, the Knicks were like 0-12. Tonight's game, to me, is pivotal to kind of get that off your back. If they can go and steal a victory and punch the Celtics in the mouth and get a win, that'll do something for their confidence moving forward. So I'm excited to see them tonight. I want to see the energy. I need to see Karl Anthony Towns. This is all hands on deck. The New York Knicks are going to need everybody to perform. They're going to need that physical defense. I think if they get physical like they did with Detroit and don't let Boston get comfortable, I still got them a shot. And that's where we'll get into the East here. So, of course, we already talked about your Cavs and Pacers. Give me your I already kind of know who you want to win, but give me your series again against the Cavs and Pacers.
For the Cavs, I think it's going to be Cavs in 6. I would have picked Cavs in 5 if they had won last night's game, but they didn't. So I'm going to go Cavs in 6. I think Pacers will probably get one on their home court. And then I'm going to go Celtics in 5. I want to go Celtics in 6. I mean, I would love to pick the Knicks. I hope the Knicks beat them. I hate the Celtics, and I would rather see the Knicks in the conference finals. But I'm going to have to go Celtics in 5. I think they give one up. No, let me go Celtics in 6, actually. I think they give one up. I think they just don't bring it one game.
Right.
And then maybe game 2, and then the Knicks probably take one on their home court. Brunson and Cat go crazy. They have their 2-man game going. Josh Hart gets a triple-double.
Right.
And, yeah, so I'll go Celtics in 6, and I will go Cavs in 6.
Well, I'm going to go the other way. I really think these Pacers are tough. I think they're going to put the Cavs to the limit. I think this goes 7, and I've got Indiana coming out of this. I think they are a very dangerous team right now, and this game 2 for the Cavs is going to be vital because if the Pacers come and run and win game 2, that's going to be a tough mountain to climb for the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially the way the Pacers are playing, because I don't know if they can catch up. So I got Pacers in 7, and, of course, I got to pick my Knicks in 7 just because I cannot pick Boston. I think if the Knicks make this a physical series and you have some guys on that Boston squad that tend to get hurt, you talk about Porzingis, he's already been bloodied and beat up in the last series, and that was against Orlando. So if the Knicks can do some old school 90s basketball and body those guys up, I think they have a puncher's chance. I can't pick against them. So I'm going Knicks. I think Jalen Brunson is a superstar. He is my MVP. We just need Karl Anthony Towns. If Karl Anthony Towns gives you 30 and 10, the New York Knicks win. That he's that good. It just he needs to show up. So, man, I appreciate you being here with me. A lot of great basketball to go. We are just starting. I mean, we were only in the semifinals, so we got 8 teams left. I'm excited to have you on here, Carson. I appreciate it. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to Boom Broadcasting, and you can find me on Hoops and Helmets. I got to shout out my lovely co-host, great friend, Aaron Schneider. He does awesome college football stuff. I'm the college basketball guy. And, yeah, if you love college basketball, we're your guys. So come on Boom Broadcasting and find us. Aaron also has Gridiron Address. I would be remiss if I didn't shout that out. Incredible NFL show every Sunday. He does a great job there. So, yeah, you can also find me at my Twitter handle, CarsonW32 right there. I'm not as active as I used to be. I've got TikTok, I believe also the same handle. And also I've got a Hoops and Helmets TikTok. Just search up Hoops and Helmets. And yeah, you basically find me on any social media. Just search up CarsonW32 or Hoops and Helmets.
Awesome. And I'm hoping to do a collabo with you guys here on Hoops and Helmets because I know we got the NBA lottery coming up. We got draft coming up. So we'll have some college and pro kind of mixing together. So I'm hoping to do some collabs with you here, man. I appreciate you again here being with me on Monday. A lot of great NBA to go here. And I will check you later, Carson. I appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely.
Peace. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for being here on Monday. Again, this is 3 from Deep. I'm Jason Colenso. Thank you very much. You will catch me again on Wednesday, 12 p.m. We got a lot going on, man. NBA playoffs are on fire. Thank you guys very much. Drop me a comment if you got any questions. Like, subscribe. Hit me up, man. I appreciate you guys being here. And I'll check you later. Peace.